6:02 p.m.
Eric, did you get the recorder started?
We will start with roll call. Councilperson McNamara.
Present.
Councilperson Cameron.
Present.
Councilperson Wolf.
Here.
Council President Bruger.
Present.
Councilperson Martin.
Here.
Councilperson Koss.
Present.
All right, next we will do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will move then to meeting minutes. We will start with September 28th council meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next, we will move to October 5th work session meeting minute. I
Move
should
to
say
approve.
Minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Next, we will move to our village official reports. First, we have for the police department, Chief Delp.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have nothing to add to my report.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Chief at this time? All right. Next, we have our fiscal officer. Our meeting for the budget is going to be at 5:30 on October 30th. And then the other thing for him is he sent out the September financials. Those are already up online. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to him. But there's that. Next, we have Mike Flickinger. Mike Flickinger's report will also be online, but here's a couple brief updates on that. Task order number 20, which is the 2022 Storm Sewer Improvement Project. They continue reviewing the contractor submittals and coordinating with their selected manufacturers. And he is also coordinating with legal counsel and village staff about the permanent and temporary easements. To date, we have all of the residential easements in our hands, or one is still in the mail.
1/3 of one is still in the mail.
1/3 of one is still in the mail.
The other
So
one is.
everything else is done. With residential, commercial, we have 3 outstanding. We are in communication with all of them, and we expect to have those done in the very near future. So we do not see any problems at this point in time. The Lake Master Plan, our engineer, Mike Flickinger, met with myself and all of council on September 27th to discuss the lake planning tech memos. We spent about 2 hours talking about options, so watch for that in a meeting near you. I would assume the next.
Or go online and download that meeting and listen to it.
Or download the meeting, yes.
Audio only.
All the tech memos are also online as well. All right. Task order number 25 is the GIS development and support. They revised with the zoning district map to align with the proposed revisions in the zoning code. They have been working on the 2023 CCTV inspection analysis. And then task order number 27 and 28 is going to be the 2023 roadway improvement projects. They have begun detailed design on these projects, and they have been coordinating with myself and Eric on pedestrian access options and finalizing some scope work on that as well. So Mike has us all really busy, and there's tons of things going on. So again, this document is online, and almost every one of these things in one form or another, CCTV, those are all online as well. Okay, so let's then move to our legal counsel.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing further. Most of what you mentioned has been what we've been focusing on the last month, is getting that storm sewer project done. We are so close. I can't wait to have that behind us and get that installed. Did talk to the contractor with Mike. We had hoped to start by next week. The contractor said, however, he can push it as deep as he needs to this year, so it's, we're a little behind, but it's okay. The only thing that might be affected is when the reseeding would happen, but they'll come back and get it done in the spring. So that's it.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions for legal? Okay. Next, we will move to our village planner, Mr. Eric Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Everything got touched on, thanks to Mike, concerning the easements, so that's good. Happy to report as project manager for your building. It is pretty much done. So very excited. We'll take the thunder away from any other announcements here this evening regarding it, but everything's been done with the punch list, everything's in, final inspection should wrap up tomorrow, should have an occupancy tomorrow, and I think we're planning to move come Monday-ish. Little flexy, but we're getting there. And then on the 23rd, I will see you all in a special meeting to hopefully wrap up presentation of the zoning code and continue on with that process. That's all I had. Take any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Eric at this time? Okay. Next, John Canty, I think his report is in the file. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to Mr. Canty or myself. Next, we have planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning's meeting this month was canceled. I am uncertain if we scheduled the next one. Hold on a second here.
We have it next month.
Yeah, there'll be one scheduled in next month, but this month's was canceled.
And we will get that online as soon as we verify which Wednesday it is. Do you know if it's the 8th or 15th?
When should I schedule it for?
14th, you said?
Is it in the email? I was just scanning.
Yes, it should be. I don't have access to that.
Wednesday is
November
it-
15th.
Wednesday's, okay.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Wednesday the 15th, 7 p.m., and that will be at the new, our community, or our
Yes.
municipal building, 7 p.m.
Cool.
Okay. Next, we have MPCA, Councilperson Cameron.
Oh, yes. Sorry, they had their meeting last night. They really kind of talked about how successful the garage sale was again this year. Not quite as many participants, but the average per household was actually higher that they received than last year. So they felt like it was a good event overall. The other thing, big topic they talked about last night were the events for FY24. So they basically have introduced their calendar for next year, dates for Sip and Dips and MPCA Family Night and all that type of stuff. So all of those are being talked about and should get up and approved here soon. That's mostly what the meeting was about last night. A rough start to get started. Took 20 minutes to get the link working and get everyone on, so it was a little slow, yeah.
Last time.
Yep.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Brian or Jason? Okay. Then I will move over to my report. First, I want to thank Eric for everything he has done getting us to this point in the building. We are all beyond excited, I think. I also want to thank all the village staff from chief to Brian, Barb, Leah, absolutely everybody packing up the building. The best is yet to come on Monday, I guess. But we did start moving computers. Our IT team has been there all day. To my knowledge, emails are working as of about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Not sure exactly what time those started working, but those did start working today. We do hope that our computers will somewhat be working tomorrow. However, if anybody needs anything, shoot an email. They're working, because it will be by appointment. It's a lot of work, obviously, to get from one building to another. They're all still packing, moving, and all that good stuff. The final move will be Monday, so we do hope to be fully operational by 9 a.m. Tuesday morning. So, October 26th is the new date for the open house, 5 to 7 p.m. I know that was a little difficult to rearrange for Barb and Leah. I know we moved our moving date a couple times and this, but these are the final dates. We should be good to go. As he stated, all the final inspections are being done today and tomorrow. They, so far, have all appeared to be great. They will have some final touches, obviously, that they will need to do over the next few days, but everything looks great as far as, having our professionals do the final walkthroughs. Next, we'll move over to citizen comments. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Committee reports.
How did I switch that?
You didn't want
It was a very nice mayor's
That's all
report,
right.
though.
Very good.
Well, no, I'm actually not in any hurry tonight. So let's go to, that was my report. Let's go to finance. Brian.
Finance, nothing to report other than what you've already announced, that we have a meeting scheduled October 30th, 5:30 PM.
All right. Is there anything else?
That's it?
Streets?
Chugging along with the plug-in, is that what we're calling it?
Yep.
With that one, and then we just met to talk about the lakes and things like that. I don't know if that's actually my committee, but I think I'm gonna be involved at some point, so, nothing else.
Awesome. Any questions for these two so far? Okay. Next, we have Councilperson Martin for services.
Leaf pickup starts the week of 10/16. Please don't rake the leaves out in the street. Remember to take the sticks and rocks out if you can, so it doesn't break the machine. And if you would like to receive weekly emails, from the village, please go to minervapark.org and click on the email alert button on the top of the page.
Perfect.
That's all.
Any questions? All right. Next, we have Recreation and Parks. Councilperson Cameron.
Okay, so we had a meeting on the 18th. We discussed pool fees for next year. We're actually going to do a first reading tonight on those fees. We talked a little bit about them at our village work session last week, but some exciting changes, I think, potentially there. The mayor and I met with Minerva Flora and kind of discussed what their future would look like, how that relationship would work. And the mayor and myself, and I'm not sure who else, have a meeting tomorrow with our landscaping company just to kind of talk about next year and what that might look like. Then the other big piece that we talked about was the pavilion, if we're going to monitor that, if we're going to rent it out. We are not looking to do that at this point in time, but we are looking at possibly a new software for pool membership, and with that comes the ability to rent areas out. And so we just have to schedule that demo to see if it's going to work for us. And that's where we are at with Recreations and Parks.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions? All right. Safety, Councilperson McNamara.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council and community. So I do not have a current meeting date scheduled. I will have one as soon as I get a few more pieces of information on a current topic. We have, as it is going to be fall and going into winter, I would like to take a moment to put a friendly reminder out there to our village to take a minute or two, let the cars heat up as it starts to frost. Actually, let it defrost. Don't drive through the little portholes. Throw your salt out. Don't slip and break an ankle. Sadly, Councilperson Costs,
But if you do, I can help you.
Nice plug.
Yes, I was going to say I didn't want to take away too much of your business, but maybe not from here at least. And lastly, I would like to just say one more time how much of a good time it was at the First Responders Night last month. Kimber gets some food and all that good stuff, and the mayor and I got soaked and in the dunk tank. So it was a good time. So hopefully we can keep things like that going into the future.
Yes. Any questions?
Yes. Any updates on the radar and the flock?
Not yet.
I have not got any emails back from them. I know that they're supposed to be coming, but
Okay,
I'm sorry, that was in my chief's report.
gotcha.
We had two new
Skimmed
flock
it.
cameras installed.
Yeah, his
Oh,
are
the
installed.
hell, okay.
Radar's
Yeah.
not.
Radar.
the radar
Okay.
was. I saw
Alright,
that, but the
thank you.
radar was his.
Thank
Now
you.
we
My
rec-
email's not working yet, so.
We
Oh,
received
mine's not
the,
either.
Yeah.
we also received the stealth stat,
Oh, because the server.
the traffic monitoring,
Oh, we did?
yeah, recording
Okay.
device. It's just sitting there waiting to be
Yeah, I
moved
was-
to the
I
new
was
building.
Okay.
Work, I was like,
Yeah,
Okay.
because it just came in,
Gotcha.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
so, and, we're just waiting on the radar sign.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been trying to read it off my phone, but I can't.
Yeah, my email didn't work when I left.
My emails work. So
Well, you're special.
Stop
You're special
bragging.
than us.
Mine didn't work midday, but they're doing
Yeah,
fine now.
yeah,
See?
they're not.
Or maybe it's stuff that I already
No.
downloaded,
Yeah,
and
I don't have it.
I'm just seeing stuff from
Yeah.
before that I didn't open.
don't seem to be able to connect it
Yeah,
on my laptop,
I've been
but my
trying.
cell phone does it, so.
I have it on everything, so I don't know what I'm connected on.
Because
So
you're special.
I must be
Yeah.
special today.
She needs to be connected.
All right, so next we have legislation, council.
Oh, legislative committee.
No,
yes.
yeah.
Got it, okay.
I didn't skip them.
I thought you were
I'm not.
skipping them.
No, we still have citizen. I got it now.
Okay, so our next legislative meeting is scheduled for the 26th at 6:15. I am probably, if you're on that committee, look for an email. I might be seeing if there are any objections to cancel it, given that that is then smack in the middle of the open house for the new.
Can we just all agree to cancel it now?
Move it.
I mean, I hate missing a month, but if no one objects, then I'll just like shout out in the middle of the meeting, Barb, can you just cancel that? That way we won't have people necessarily walking around and looking at the new building in the middle of an active meeting. Of course, when that was originally scheduled, the dedication was this next Thursday, I believe.
If you have anything pressing, we can always try to do it on the 23rd, like at the beginning or the end.
We do, yeah, and we do have a council work session, basically on the code rewrite, 7 PM on the 23rd. I do not know where that will be or not. That'll be here, okay,
No,
so.
new building,
Oh, that will be in the municipal building?
absolutely.
Okay, so the municipal building will be open for that, we'll be doing that. To be honest, generally what happens in legislative committee meetings is we go over the legislation for the upcoming session. With that work session on a Monday, we will probably do that. For everyone watching at home and wondering why we never argue about legislation here, it's because we do it in our work sessions and our committee meetings. So that we don't have to spend time in open council doing that. And that is all.
Awesome. I already did my report, see, now we're flying. So next, let's go to citizen comments.
All right, at this time, any citizen who would like to address council or the camera or whatever, come on up, state your name and address. You have 5 minutes. We're being filmed, people out there watching, there's watch parties on this. It's like Friends, but with more of a plot.
2937, Tony Benedetti, 2937 Berry Lane Court. I just got finished trying to listen to the work session that you guys just had, and you know the conversation that you tried to have. Stacy, thank you. I feel your pain, but the code, you guys need to address this sooner than later. And I realize I don't have a college degree like these two guys do, but there's more than one way to interpret our code. And I think you need to ask yourself, what was the intent of our former council when it came to what the code was? And the intent, in my opinion, was to list the businesses that are permitted. Now, Brian is proposed, the smartest way in his words is to do it the two ways that he describes, is to have a list that excludes the different types of businesses. Well, you know, just like you had mentioned, we didn't know about fireworks before, and it wasn't in our radar. So to come up with a list of what businesses you don't want to have is really a lot harder than figuring out the businesses that you do want to have. And the purpose of picking out businesses that you do want to have is because they have a certain type of business has a certain amount of traffic associated with it. You know, so you guys really need to take the time. Well, let me back up a second. All you need to do to fix this problem is to change, just like Jesse's recommended in the code rewrite, is put, instead of including these list of businesses, just change it limited to. And it takes out all of the confusion. And it specifically says, these are the businesses. Now, it's been described as a nightmare to go through and pass a variance for every business that wants to come in that isn't on the list. Well, I don't think it's a nightmare. Like Stacy, I think, is alluding to. And what really, bothered me the most about this meeting is that it basically was Stacy has one point and Brian has another point. And Nobody else really was willing to chime in to much extent about this issue. You guys are never going to, solve the problems unless you start to have conversations about it. And then you guys just came to a head, you just butted heads, and okay, we're going to talk about it later. And I appreciate that you want to get all the information, but this is not going to be an easy fix. And it needs to happen sooner than later, because this moratorium on development's only for 60 days, and 30 days of that are probably gone by now. So you guys can fix this problem. You've made a mountain out of a molehill with this fireworks issue. And that's all that's, because I want to spend a minute talking about the lakes. I didn't stick around to the end of Mike's meeting, but I heard some talk about like turning the North Lake into green space or something. Well, let me tell you guys, and this is something, Jesse, you can refer back to Gene, is that there are deed restrictions on the property of the community building and that the lakes stand on. That the family called the Berries, which is why my street's called Berry Lane Court, they donated the land to the village for the community building and the lakes. There's a deed restriction that requires the village to maintain the lakes as lakes. So the option of eliminating the North Lake, it's really not an option if we were to follow the deed restrictions that are on the property. And this is, something, I think is a good reason why I would be a good mayor, is that I've been around long enough to know about these issues, and that the village spent money on the law director to try to find the Berry heirs in order to change this deed restriction. But we are legally bound to maintain the lakes as lakes. And like I said, Gene will be familiar with that.
You can say whatever you want. You are a council member.
Thanks for the plug, but we're way ahead of you on that one. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
I mean, all I have to say is, first of all, Brian and I are not in a fight, we just disagree on things. But second of all, it's as easy as saying, oh, you just need brain surgery. So, I'll just put that out.
But I will point out to people, yes, that the deed restrictions was placed to our attention, and searching for the people, the descendants, would then alleviate that causes, because the descendants can give permission, and it's perfectly legal. I believe you want to do public comments? Come on up, we'll give you 5 minutes, state your name and address, and feel free to speak on whatever's on your mind.
Well, there's a wide variety of
As far as I care, I should end at the end of that.
All right, my name is Rainey Conger. I live at 4764 Black Sycamore Drive. And honestly, I just had a couple of questions that I couldn't figure out on my own. I know that you said everything's online. I was not able to, I probably just got lost, find the roadway improvements information.
This document is online that talks about that, and the Lake Tech memos are online. So the roadway is just is a starter project. So this document that talks about that is online under the agendas and all of that. So under today.
I've got the list of tasks.
So
Is
that's
that what you
it.
mean?
That document is
Okay.
online, but the tech memos for the lakes is also online.
Okay.
So
there's
all of the lake,
nothing about the road.
that is a 2024-2025 project.
Well, that's why I can't find it.
That's why you
See,
can't find it.
Look at that.
Forgot your time machine.
Problem solved. And then you said the tech memos for the lakes are online.
Those are all online, as well as the full, you can pause for a thing, the full meeting, that full meeting that we talked about lakes, the engineering meeting. It's not
The listening part.
just
is
the listening.
Visual part. That was
Visual
before,
is not
any of that?
recorded in those, no. Those are all just audio.
No, I know, but is there like, his slideshow?
I think
Slideshow's on there.
That's what I'm looking
It's on there.
Yeah.
Under.
Let me get your email and I'll send you a link.
Under Barb will find it for me, thank you.
Yes.
You're the best,
Under
Barb. Barb knows all. And then the other thing I was looking for, and it may not exist, is Jason. I know that you've been doing amazing things with the pool, and I haven't kept up, and I'm trying to catch up. were we looking at any other pool improvements? Like, I know it's really old. Were we looking at like rebuilding the pool or any level of improvements at that level? Did you have some meetings or the documents on that front, or am I just making that up? Very possible.
So that was part of the conversation with the engineers. And their feedback was it's pretty much the same cost to do either fix what you have or replace it. All of our buildings would have to be brought up to code, which is half of the expense of the pool project. Half of it's the pool, half of it's the buildings.
So where did we land on that? Are we still thinking about it, or?
We're trying to figure out financing at this time.
Okay.
So,
Plug the
Yeah.
pool committee.
Huh?
There's a pool committee.
there is a pool committee, yes. But right now, we have not met recently because there's nothing else to really talk about
Because it's
at this
October.
point, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's why I couldn't find it online either.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is everything I have. So, thank you.
All right, anyone else? I see some other people. Come on up. I think you're familiar with what you're gonna do, name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
My social security number is
Oh.
Tommy Grant, 4873 Farview. Couple things, I've been hanging out with council during some work sessions, which have been just exhilarating 2.5 hours of lake talk with Mr. Flickinger, and really enjoyed that. I think one of the biggest things that I took away from that is how much of a continued ongoing expense the lakes are going to be perhaps every 20 years. And if we went with the full tilt boogie method of the $4.3 million, when I look at those figures, and I know that that's something that's unreasonable, but I just think about the cost of making them the way they should be. And that's $5,375 per household for a 20-year period, if you're averaging 800 households. There's some numbers we throw around about counts of houses, but it's a lot of money. So it's just one of those things that's kind of like a fixed expense that only increases because of inflation. So I appreciate everybody's, doing that, and I just, sometimes I wonder about those lakes because it's just like a constant expense, and then I wonder how much of the village is getting the same equal enjoyment out of that lake. That's just some thoughts. That's just resident comment, right? Another thing that I wanted to talk about was the code. And I know you guys talked about it in the recent work session, and I don't think there was an argument. I think there was just a matter of bringing up something that needed further discussion. Mayor Souther brought up Westerville City Commercial Code, and I looked through that, and there's a lot of, so I'm not a legal expert. I do read insurance contracts on a daily basis, but that's it, and I try to interpret them, but I'm not a zoning aficionado. But there's some things in the Westerville Code that bring a lot of things it's a little more conditional. And it says, and I know it seems like you're either going either A or B, like exclude or only include, and I think that there's some opportunity to say, hey, here's the kind of businesses I want, everything else could be conditional. And that doesn't mean that you're saying no, I just think that means you can bring it to planning and zoning, because as a member of planning and zoning, I think that would be great. It's a great place for citizens and people that are non-voting members or voting members to at least hash out and share their opinion on what's going on in the neighborhood and gather feedback from them instead of having things be a surprise and then it becomes a Facebook post and everybody's up in arms and whatnot. So I think that I'm real thankful that you guys are going to continue to talk about that, and I look forward to hearing that discussion.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Did I say anything? No, okay. All right, that ends citizen comments, and now we will move to legislation.
All right, first up tonight is Resolution 2023-32, a second reading. This is a resolution to amend and revise, amending the Minerva Park fee schedule and to declare an emergency. For those curious at home, some of the bigger changes, renting a special duty cruiser. In other words, if you have something that needs an officer and they need to have their car there, was $15 an hour, I believe. We're moving that to 25, which is standard for Franklin County area for police departments. Solicitation registration fee is $60. People to come to your house and want to solicit things have to stop by the community center. $60 gets them the Ohio fingerprint background check before we let them loose to sell roofs or insurance or Wi-Fi or whatever. And the fancy new one is the community room rental as the new municipal building is completed. We plan to rent the community room. The current proposed fee for that would be $150 with the caveat of a credit card on file in case of someone spilling punch on the carpet and us having to get a carpet shampooer out. Those are the major changes to the fee schedule. I'm not missing anything, am I, Mayor?
When you rent the community room, you will be signing a contract. In the contract, there will also be additional information. We are still finalizing that. One of the things that you guys had asked me about was the key and how that's gonna go. We are still working on that because some of them may be a little more costly to replace the key. So we are working on a price for that, so once we get that, we would be able to finalize the contract.
Awesome. That probably won't affect the price, it'll just come down to if
you lose
and hopefully we won't need to give people physical keys. Obviously, if you give someone a physical key to the building and they lose it, they get to pay to rekey the whole building because it's a lost key.
Yes.
But we'll have your credit card on file for that. Jason, I think you were gonna say something.
I was just gonna say, maybe we wanna clarify the time period or the length of what $150 gets you. Is it a day? Can you rent it for the week, you know?
That will be in the contract as well, yeah.
Yes, we
okay.
can do that.
Okay.
And if we need to adjust that line, we can do that, because we are at what, second reading on this one?
Just at second reading on that one.
And we will also have a work session before then.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's actually a great point, if somebody wants to rent it all day Saturday versus a half day Saturday, is it different?
And I'm gonna point out one other thing on here, because
Go for it.
we have pool rental on here, which is the next legislation as well, and we have different prices on each of them.
That's why I brought that up at the meeting, I guess that was my question,
And I thought we decided not to change them at the meeting,
correct,
at the village meeting.
correct.
Yeah.
Are
So,
they changed?
Huh?
Where's it right and where's it wrong?
It is correct on what we're currently reading, it is wrong on the pool one
It's
that
the
we're
same
about
on
to
both
read.
of them, isn't it?
No, it's in red on it's up $100 on the pool, and the next
No,
one that we're
'cause
about to read.
It's 250, both of them say 250 for 2
Oh,
hours,
it just-
350 for 3.
I'm sorry, it just states, we've added, I guess, that it's for the total, the price for total.
Yeah,
Yes.
so the
Okay.
numbers match, they're just
Okay.
written in different ways.
Gotcha, okay,
Okay.
that's what confused me. My other question here is, do we need it on both of these? And that's probably more for you, Jesse. So we have it on two different pieces of, resolutions here, I guess.
It's not they're the same fee.
They are, but, you know, in the future, if we're going off of one,
A fair point. Well, we have the fee schedule, and that we refer to it. Thinking through that, I mean, you're right, if one were to change and the other were not,
We'd have to change both pieces of
we'd have
legislation
to
every single
yeah.
time.
change both every single time.
yeah. So I don't know if we remove it from,
Can we
which one we
remove
remove it from, but
Right.
we're only on first reading for the pool,
Yeah,
so.
I would probably take it
Second.
from the pool and keep the pool just to be about membership
Yeah.
stuff
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the renting as part of the main fee
Okay.
schedule. If-
Yep.
If I was gonna vote for which
I think
one
that
to
makes
be
sense. I think that
in,
makes
which I
sense.
guess I get too, that
Correct,
would be my vote.
okay.
All right, anything else on that one? Ooh, such lively debate tonight. All right, resolution 2023-34 is next on the agenda. A resolution establishing fees for membership for the Minerva Park Pool for the 2024 summer season. This is a first reading. The major change that I'm seeing from, that is worth noting, is early bird renewal discount, and I'm gonna say this because we're gonna say it lots of time and then tell lots of people that they should have listened, I'm sure. We do have our normal $25 discount for residents only who renew between January 1st and March 31st. We also have a $25 discount for any member who renews. So we need to change that because it shouldn't say renew in both of them. It should be early bird for buying it
Correct.
and discount for renewing.
Or.
And it is an or, yes, thank you, I was gonna get to that. If you look, even on the page, if you go online and look at it, in big capital bold letters, it says only one discount per member. You can get $25 off for registering early, or you can get $25 out because you are renewing an existing membership. You cannot get both. So that is why I wanted to mention that in particular.
Okay, so we need to adjust that to where it says early bird
Yes.
on the one line. Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
So if nothing else, it was good to read that and catch that. All right, moving on to our last piece of legislation of this evening. Resolution 2023-35, a resolution authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into various reoccurring contracts necessary for the continuous operations of the village. Anyone wanting to see a complete list, I invite you to go online and look at it. It's a lot of things like our payroll, our email, stuff that just always need to be taken care of that we don't necessarily want to have to pass legislation every time we re-up with them. And unless anyone has any comments, that is legislation for this evening.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any old business? Anybody have any new business? I have something. I would just like to point out that we use our legal team, we use our professionals to do a lot of our day-to-day activities. And I just want to remind people that we have them for a reason. And I'd like to thank you for everything that you have done for us. You have a lot going on right now, and I know that. So I'm being pretty vague, but I'm just letting you know that we have things under control. And that's all I have to say.
Move to adjourn.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you guys all, I don't think we have anything next week, do we?
We have Monday, we have the recap.
Oh,
one,
Monday.
But
Monday is the lakes, no, the code.
We have something like
I thought the code rewrite wasn't.
Monday is the
until-
recap meeting.
Monday's
This
the
Monday's my meeting,
Yeah.
the 23rd.
Yeah, it's
the
the same
16th.
week, it's the same week, it's the same week as
Got
the stuff.
First Monday,
So,
following
yeah.
Monday.
So everyone enjoy your week off.
I don't have a week off, I have his.
Nothing just going on.
You can skip it.
But then the following week is.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I have teacher conferences during that week, so.
They all wanna.
We represent.
Hey, looking for you to be his ally when he's mayor. Looking for you to be a gold girl when he's a mayor.
See who your allies are. And how that reflects on you. That's all I'm saying.
Great to meet you. Yeah, feel free to give me a call anytime.
I had to catch up to everyone's text during. Did you get my image yet? My connection.